Okay, so welcome back. As I said, I would like to talk to you about the another hot topic, which is BuzzFeed is only the last company, the latest company that has announced massive, furlough for their employees, and they're gonna lay off a lot of people. So here, and I mentioned this at the beginning of this segment, is that in media over the last years we had this huge problem of, again, tribalism, people taking sides, the heavy politicization of information, and that's been very, very bad. And BuzzFeed has been at the forefront in this movement. Basically, we have media companies who, instead of having the main concern of informing people, of giving people fair news or trusted sources, they decided that they wanted to do politics, and this is bad. This has been very bad, because we all lost in this game, because again, these media outlets pander to their base. What they want to do is to reinforce the confirmation bias that somebody has. And this is not the role of news. This is not the role of journalism. So again, these were fancy models, right? That the only person who really got rich was the CEO who started it. And a very good example is WeWork. If you know anything about WeWork, but the CEO and the founder of WeWork, he walked away from his company with 1.7 billion dollars, billion with the B, guys, not the M, B. And SoftBank, the Japanese bank that invested like a lot of money in this company, now is in deep debt. And a couple of weeks ago, the I think one of the rating agencies has rated the stocks of SoftBank junk bonds to the level of junk. So but the guy who founded the company, super rich. Same thing here we have with Jonah Peretti, the CEO of the company. And only a few months ago, they announced, very, very proudly and triumphantly, that they were going to, keep their employees, and they would double down on the effort of keeping their employees, and blah blah blah. Well, guess what? They just cut an additional 220 staffers this year, and they've closed operations in the UK and Australia. What about saying something and doing the exact opposite? But what is the problem here with BuzzFeed is that, again, they mastered the art of clickbaiting, and of course, then after 2016, you remember what happened in 2016, the elections. That was really the fork where like most of the media, they decided to take a specific side. And again, here I'm trying to be as neutral and fair as possible, because I really don't care. I'm pretty sure that you get opinions every day, all day long, wherever you look. Here I like to share my opinions, but when it comes to politics, I really don't care. I focus on us as Americans and as human beings, what would be better for us, and what we deserve. And we don't deserve this crappy news. Again, these people become rich, really, sucking the lifeblood out of you, with this toxicity, with this resentment, with this, always trying to fire you up. And if you are on one side of the fence, they make you feel that, you are the best human being in the world because you have all the right opinions, you have all the right ideas, and that's how how they want you to feel. Or if you belong to the other side of the fence, oh, you are the devil. It's like you have no right of to exist in this world. And yeah, and that's where cancel culture started. And yeah, this is toxic, this is negative, this it's very divisive. And again, there's this massive projection on everybody where you accuse your enemy of exactly what you're doing. It's awful. It's awful. Where is the pleasure of conversation? Where is the pleasure of even irony or jokes? The whole problem with social justice warriors or politically correctness is that humor gets trashed because the offense is always given, and it's not taken, and it's horrible. Look at this. And again, they always project the cause of the problems on others. So of course it's because who won the election in 2016. But no, that's not the point. It's like you should make up your mind by yourself. You should have different sources, and you should be able to access these sources and form your own opinion. No, instead now they bake these opinions and they deliver to you, and they want to swallow whatever they tell you on one side and the other. I'm not saying that this comes only on one side, it comes from both sides, and I'm sick and tired of this. I'm pretty sure you are as well if you're listening to this show. Anyway, BuzzFeed again built their success on basically these joint ventures with huge corporations, and of course the whole system is connected. These huge companies like Amazon and Facebook, they need clickbaiting. They need engagement. That's the word that used to be so cool. As a matter of fact, is not that cool anymore, because engagement now basically means that they want people. They want you people to get fired up about anything. Even if you are shopping on Amazon, they need to build this kind of obsessive compulsive subconscious reaction in us that we click like we are a cattle. And it's horrible. And BuzzFeed is one of these companies. Like they made a living. Not only a living, if you go and check how much money BuzzFeed has made over the last 15 years, even if you are like a super proud of the newsfeed you receive from BuzzFeed basically every 5 minutes, go and check how much money they made using your data, and then come back and tell me. Because yeah, you know what, they want to fire you up, especially if again you belong to that that kind of people who really gets fired up pretty easy, or you identify as a social justice warrior. Listen, they called you a social justice warrior. The world, a warrior. It's so empowering, right? Makes you feel that you are a warrior, that you're actually fighting a war. I'm sorry. What they want is your data, and they want to harvest their data and to resell them, and probably to some company that you actually hate. Believe it or not, this is the irony of this whole system. So. As you can see here, again, this is a lot of blah, blah, blah saying, no, we are actually refocusing our business. We are actually, we want to valorize even more our personnel. Well, guess what? You know why they have furloughed all these people and, laid so many people off is because people were trying to unionize. What about that? So when they saw that there was these underground movements where people were trying to unionize to get some rights, basically, or some benefits, they decided to leave them at home. Yes. So where is the the political correctness, or the social justice beacon here? As you can see, when it comes down to money, they don't care about your political affiliation, how many tweets you have tweeted out, how many times you have said that you hate this or you hate that. You see, when it comes down, the bottom line, they look at profit and they don't care about you. Exactly. This is the problem, my dear. And hopefully this is going to change, because guess what? Recently, BuzzFeed has also announced that they are going to Abandon politics. Yes, guess what? Probably that, in a thriving economy where you can benefit from a system that is good, it's performing well. You don't want to give credit to those who deserve why the economy was this good. Well, guess what? That economy was allowing you to follow the media that you like. Now that the economy is going down, is actually nosediving, and we have more than 16% of unemployment, and very likely it's going to be much, much longer than that, much, much higher than that. Guess what's happening? Yeah, they've decided that maybe they need to be a little bit more conservative and more considerate, right? And so they're not going to talk about politics, because guess what? They, again, projection is you accuse people who are genuinely and authentically offended by what you say or what you do. Again, accusing them of being trolls. They have been trolling people this whole time. They have alienated bases and customers. And because they were saying, oh, well, we can still, apply for a $1 billion loan or whatever. Now, guess what? That $1 billion is gone forever. So, yeah, maybe they have to basically do a better job and maybe not troll and alienate more than half the population, right? But the point is, like, if you have spent the last 5 years insulting people, accusing people of being, whatever label you want, and now you want to go back to them and say, oh, you know what, I'm still here. Why don't you read my article? I've blocked a lot of media from my feeds, like a long time ago, and BuzzFeed was one of these. The other one is the Hollywood Reporter, and many other outlets like Vice or whatever. Because again, even if I agree with the concept, I don't like the way it's portrayed. You accuse certain groups of people of being oppressive, of being manipulative, of being violent, and then what you do is it's even worse. You react with violence, discrimination, and irrationality. And that's never the right answer. You should, if you really want to oppose something, if you really dislike a certain way people behave, then you should always try to be the better version of yourself and show your enemy the behavior you would like to see. Instead, this is kind of a race where who's going to be more mean, who's going to be more violent, who's going to be more determined in basically crush and destroy the opposite side. This is not us, especially as Americans. Whoever you talk to from abroad, their experience in America is always of a welcoming country, is always the appreciation for the diversity that we have here in this country. And our institutions used to be respected because they were actually protecting these interests, these rights, and these privileges. And this is not the case anymore, because today you might be happy that these institutions that you support are taking down your enemies. The day after tomorrow, 2 days from now, they're going to come from you, and you won't have anybody backing you up. This is what is more concerning about this whole situation. So anyway, real estate, woke medias, these are all part of the same ecosystem. And hopefully this crisis forced us to stay at home and, think hard and think twice about what we have done over the last years. And instead of, marrying these ideologies, climate change or not climate change, I always say, I give you an example because I blame people who lecture other people, so I had to lecture other people. But I give you an example. Me about climate change. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to think, because on one hand, I'm aware of the impact of human beings on the planet, but I've done my research, I've done my homework, and I've seen that the sources on which these opinions are based are not pure, are not verified, are not tested. So yeah, so how I decided to take action. Well, I'm very responsible at home. I'm very responsible with my co-workers. I try not to waste. It's very simple. You can be responsible, and you can make a difference and have an impact in your daily activity. So instead of spending hours and hours on Twitter trolling people who, blaming them because they don't believe in climate change, or the fact that you need to be, to get fired up about climate change, this is just a waste of energy. It's really a waste of energy. You can actually change the world with your actions. This is what is most important. So go out south, live by example, see what you can do at home, what you can do in your family, what you can do in your neighborhood to actually have an impact, and share it. Share good actions instead of trolling people, instead of trying to cancel people who disagree with you. Try to make an impact. Try to live by example. This is the best advice that I have for you today. So I do hope that you enjoyed this episode. Of course, please like, share, subscribe, support independent content creators. We need you more than ever. And I want to thank you again, and we'll see you soon at the next episode. Thank you. Take care, guys.